The Copperman soloed the boss on the 74th floor, but collapsed with low health. He was revived by Asuna and they became partners in a duel. The revelation of his dual-wielding skills sparked discussion. The guild leader noticed the duo and proposed a PK challenge. The winner would claim Asuna, while the loser would join the Night Order. The Copperman gladly accepted the challenge. The two skilled fighters faced off with a large crowd watching. The Copperman made the first move, but his sword technique was interrupted by the guild leader's counterattack. The Copperman dodged the blunt sword and unleashed his dual-wielding skills again, increasing his speed and breaking through the guild leader's shield. However, the guild leader countered with an eerie speed to withstand the final blow, winning the match but also exposing something unusual. The Copperman grew suspicious. Having lost to the guild leader, he reluctantly joined the Night Order, and Asuna brought him the team uniform, marking their first genuine connection. The Copperman recounted his past hardships, and Asuna felt compassion and embraced him tightly. The Copperman was taken for training and joined the same team as the bearded man and the sleazy knight. The purpose of the training was to test the Copperman's teamwork skills, with the task of collecting transfer crystals. The bearded man handed over all the crystals. However, the two fell into a trap set by the sleazy knight. He released a paralysis skill in the water, knocking down the bearded man. The Copperman also fell victim to the trap, as the paralysis took effect. The sleazy knight ruthlessly stabbed the bearded man to death. After dealing with the bearded man, his attention turned to the Copperman. Astonishingly, this guy had secretly joined the Smiling Coffin Guild. The sleazy knight raised his dagger and thrust it towards the Copperman, piercing his abdomen. The Copperman instinctively thought about happiness, believing that this would be his end. However, in the last moment of his life, the Copperman realized that the person he cared most about was Asuna. With his health nearly depleted and the paralysis gradually wearing off, the Copperman tightly gripped his sword and struggled once again for Asuna's sake. The Copperman's health continued to decline. Just then, Asuna arrived, in time, taking out a healing crystal and saving the dying Copperman. However, due to the interference of the sleazy knight, Asuna couldn't act in time and was nearly ambushed. Fortunately, the Copperman's paralysis had been lifted, and he reached out to save Asuna. In the end, a single, decisive attack from the Copperman drove the sleazy knight back. Asuna looked at the injured Copperman and felt deep guilt. She cried and said, "Let's not contact each other anymore." However, at that moment, the Copperman had already understood his feelings. He responded to Asuna with a gentle and resolute passionate kiss. Their hearts were connected, and on the same evening, the Copperman proposed and they got married, leaving Asuna moved to tears. After their wedding, they bought a small cottage by the lake and enjoyed a blissful honeymoon. One day, they encountered a little girl named Jay who had lost her memory and decided to adopt her. However, before adopting her, they decided to find Jay's identity first. They went to the first level to search clues but encountered a group of bullies. Asuna bravely stood up to protect the children and helped rescue the trapped Shinka. The vice officer revealed the betrayal within the army and Shinka predicament to them. In the labyrinth, the Copperman and Asuna faced formidable enemies, but Jay displayed astonishing power and defeated the boss. It turned out that Jay was an AI psychologist in the game, trapped and lost her memories. Now, thanks to helping the Copperman and Asuna, Jay's memories had been restored, but the system had captured her and intended to directly revoke her administrator status and delete her by formatting. In a critical moment, the Copperman utilized his exceptional skills to encode Jay's data into a tangible entity, turning her into a simple compressed file stored in local data, temporarily saving her. The young couple bid farewell to Shinka and the vice officer and returned to the 22nd level. There, they met an old brother who was responsible for game security. He had bought multiple houses in the game and had no attachment to reality. The couple helped resolve the issue of water monsters in the lake. However, a letter from the team leader prompted them to return to the front lines and face the final boss of the 75th level. The situation was exceptionally dire this time, with no information about the boss, but they decided to join the battle. After the meeting, the Copperman revealed his vulnerable side, hoping to spend happy times with Asuna. However, Asuna wished to marry and have children with the Copperman in reality, as their bodies were still in the hospital. They were determined to clear the level and continue fighting the next day, despite their tears. On the 75th level, they realized that the boss was overwhelmingly powerful, with an unbelievably high attack power. The Copperman and Asuna fought bravely but only managed to deplete a small portion of the boss' health bar. Eventually, they managed to defeat the boss, but 14 people lost their lives. Faced with the next 25th levels, everyone felt helpless, but the team leader demonstrated an effortless state of control. Suddenly, the Copperman remembered the team leader's abrupt acceleration during their one-on-one fight. He immediately drew his sword and launched a surprise attack on the team leader, catching him off guard. The system protection window popped up with the same indestructible attribute prompt as Jay's. Asuna was stunned, and the Copperman directly exposed the team leader's true identity. For the past 2 years, the game has been continuously adjusted, and Mao Cheng Jingyan has been silently observing the players. Now, he finally reveals his true identity, and the team leader is none other than Mao Cheng Jingyan. He designed a cliché script, originally planning to restore his boss identity when the players reached the 99th level. However, his disguise was exposed on the 75th level, leaving everyone shocked. The team leader doesn't feel that his actions were wrong. Instead, he acknowledges the Copperman's abilities in the game and sees him as the hero who will defeat the Demon King. The team leader cancels the abilities of other players and gives the Copperman 2 choices. First, the team leader returns to the 100th level to await their victory. Or second, the Copperman engages in a one-on-one fight with the team leader. The Copperman chooses the latter and requests that if he dies, the team leader ensures that Asuna cannot commit suicide for a period of time. The team leader agrees. In the battle, the Copperman uses combo skills, gradually wearing down the team leader's durability. Just as the Copperman is about to be struck by the team leader's sword technique, Asuna breaks free from her paralysis state and takes the fatal blow, sacrificing herself. The Copperman, weakly attempting to grasp the shattered fragments, can only painfully kneel on the ground. The team leader thrusts his sword into the Copperman's abdomen. As the Copperman is on the brink of death, Asuna's face flashes before his eyes. The dissipating body of the Copperman gathers once again due to his determination, breaking through the system's limitation. He grasps Asuna's device and pierces through the team leader's abdomen, avenging Asuna with his own hands. In the end, both he and the team leader perish, and the fragments of the game scatter in the air. 2 years later, this deadly reality game finally comes to an end.